Sounds like a great time. Honestly, not really complaining. I had a pretty good time. Does Sweden have insurance for medical treatment? I mean, we do, but medical treatments is usually not very expensive. Like, even if you're, like, making, like, just minimum wage or whatever, and you end up needing heart surgery, you don't really have to, like, you don't have your life uprooted and ruined if that happens. On the other hand, because it's not expensive, the reason we have that is because we have extremely heavy taxes. But on the flip side, we have some of the worst waiting times in the world when it comes to healthcare, both for mental health and like regular physical health. There's even like a lot of horror stories are people just laying in waiting rooms at like the emergency care unit. So there are people just laying there with like life-threatening injuries or like organs failing on them for hours and just dying in the waiting rooms. So obviously it's not a perfect solution. Sure, everybody can get healthcare for not a whole lot of money, but the question is, are you gonna get it in time? It actually happened to me. During my appendix, I had to wait like 2 hours before I was able to get a doctor to examine me, and they like tested a few things for like 40 minutes or so to check that it actually was my appendix and not something else. So when they had checked all of that, the doctor left, and then they left me there for screaming in agonizing pain, some of the worst pain I've ever experienced, for 6 hours. 6 hours of just laying on a table screaming. So yeah, that gives you an idea what you can expect from Swedish healthcare. Are you okay now? Yeah, that was years ago. I'm fine now. Did you have someone help with you? I mean, I had someone with me. Obviously I couldn't drive back then, so I had somebody drive me. So they were just hanging out. So when the doctor finally came back, she was just like, "Oh, sorry about the delay. I had some surgery I needed doing." And I'm just to this day, I'm just like, you couldn't have had someone else fill in for you? Like, what if it was serious? What if I died during that time? What if my appendix burst during that time? Then what would have happened? And when I went to have my ear looked at the start of this year, when it was heavily infected, in order to get a prescription for antibiotics that I could put into my ear to get the infection and swelling to go down, I went to different waiting rooms between different people, just sort of having a look and passing me on to the next person for like 5 hours. And when I finally got to the last guy that could give me the prescription, for those 5 hours, you know how long it took? He looked in my ear for like maybe 30 seconds, looked at his papers for 10 seconds, and said, "Yeah, it's pretty infected. Here, have a prescription. You can get this at whatever pharmacy." I'm just like, 5 hours for 40 seconds. Like, some of the earlier ones that also looked in my ear couldn't have made that assessment? Man. I hate it here sometimes. And there was another time, too, when I needed to get, like, my COVID vaccine, and I had scheduled a time at a specific vaccination clinic. And I look up the vaccination clinic, I look up the time, I have the time, it was like 2 p.m. or something. I plug it into my GPS, and, like, I drive to the location. I get to the location, and there's nothing there. The clinic doesn't exist. I reserved a time at a clinic that is physically not there. And it wasn't just me. It was like 4 other people too that were just walking around like lost children, like looking like, where is this clinic? And it was just non-existent. And this was at a government-run website. You needed to use a government-ran website in order to make this appointment. Sweden is just on some different crap, man. Where was it? I don't know. To this day, I went around the entire neighborhood looking for this thing. It didn't exist. What's going on over there? I don't know, man. I do not know. Anyway, it's past past 6 a.m. right now. I feel like I should get some sleep so I can rest up, rest my voice, and go back on my mission.